Experts say insurance claims from these wildfires could be in the tens of billions of dollars.
Yeah, we're joined now by insurance expert Karl Susman. Karl, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Let's start off by asking, in terms of the scope of this disaster, do you anticipate the number of claims filed for these fires to be unprecedented?
It was unprecedented 24 hours after it began. It's truly unbelievable. And I know that a lot of times we have claims that have been filed now, and we have all these estimates that people are rattling off, but a lot of people haven't even filed claims because they're evacuated and they're not sure what the status of their home is. So I think we're going to be seeing the number of claims just continue to rise as time goes by now and the fire keeps burning. We're still only at 11% contained on the Palisades fire.
Yeah, there was already an insurance crisis, though, before this fire. We saw people's insurance policies over fire get canceled before this. What does this mean for the future of the insurance market? Do you see in the future most people being able to insure their homes here in California for fire?
Well, fortunately, very fortunately, all of the new regulations for the sustainable insurance strategy went into effect in December. Literally less than a week, the last part of it before the fire started to begin. So we have a path forward for the industry. I think they're going to have to buckle down, write some really big checks, but at least there's the position that they can take now where they can start properly underwriting. And I think as far as some of these areas go, as horrible as it is, I would like to think they're going to be rebuilt with the most up-to-date building codes. I think they're going to be learning a lot in the industry about why some houses randomly seem to survive and what they can do when they start rebuilding these homes to try and build homes that are less likely to burn in the event of a fire like this.
Karl, this is something that my family and I have been talking about. We know that State Farm recently canceled thousands of policies over in the Palisades. Now, the California Insurance Commissioner recently issued a mandatory one-year moratorium on non-renewals as well as cancellations. Can you explain what this means and how people will be affected by this?
Sure. I live and work very close to the Palisades, so this was a big shakeup. They actually non-renewed 1,626 individual policies just in 90272 in the Palisades. It was the second highest area for non-renewals when State Farm started doing that. So all of those people had to go and get coverage elsewhere in a market that we all know is very challenging. A lot of them did go to the California Fair Plan for coverage, and others were able to get policies either through carriers that were not admitted in California or through smaller, more regional companies. Going forward, hopefully, they did end up with a carrier that is financially stable. If they're an admitted company, they do have the backing of the California Insurance Guarantee Association, so there's a little bit of a cushion there. And if they're with the Fair Plan, they have the backing of all of the insurance carriers that are admitted in California. So I think everyone, hopefully by now, has coverage somewhere else, and they will be able to rebuild with that coverage.
Karl, something that officials just spoke about in this press conference not too long ago was scams. They want people, of course, as they're filing for insurance claims, trying to get help, trying to rebuild, to be careful to not take advantage of, which unfortunately is a major part of the story after any disaster like this. How can people protect themselves?
Yeah, I was also just watching Kirsten's coverage of that, which was great. There's a fine line between scamming and gouging, and I want to make sure everyone is aware. People are looking to get temporary housing right now. They're looking for renting, and I've spoke with people that are having a lot of problems. They're being told by landlords, give us your best and final offer, and we'll decide who's going to get the space. So I want everyone to be aware that that's actually illegal. There's a California Penal Code. It's section 396, for whatever that's worth. But people are not allowed to increase what they are charging for rent more than 10% higher than it was prior to the disaster being declared. So if you're in a situation where you're looking to get housing and someone is playing games like that, you might just be able to say, hey, you know what? That's against the law. Are you sure you really want to do that? And that might be enough to hopefully get them sort of back in line and maybe actually give you a fair price on the rental.
Karl, I think a lot of people are wondering right now, will these homeowners get enough coverage from these insurers to rebuild without considerable, out-of-pocket loss?
Well, fortunately, and it's a horrible way to put it, but fortunately, when there's a total loss, we should be looking for policy limits. So if the policy was written properly, then there should be sufficient coverage for it. Homeowners insurance policies by design are designed to rebuild the house from the ground up. So if that was done, the only out-of-pocket expense theoretically you should be looking at would be whatever deductible you have on the policy.
Yeah, and that makes a great point. We had an interview with the man yesterday, and one of our reporters was asking him if he had fire insurance, and he said, honestly, I'm not sure. I think people are so overwhelmed in the home buying process and the insurance process. A lot of times, you don't look at what's really in your policy or what's covered until something like this happens.
I know, right? You don't read the thousands of pages when you buy a house and you're signing all these papers. The good news is, fortunately, that if you have any type of property insurance policy, chances are extremely good that fire insurance is in there. It's what we call a primary coverage. It's what's included in homeowners insurance, and then other things get stacked on top of that. So unless you specifically look to exclude fire, which I doubt will be the case, and I can promise you is not the case if you have a lender, because the bank's looking out to be sure there's fire insurance on the collateral they're giving you money on, then you will have some form of fire insurance in effect.
Well, that is definitely good to know. Karl, very helpful information as people move forward with their insurance claims and the beginning of the process to rebuild. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, too.